This video is brought to you by Roll for Combat, an official Paizo actual play podcast. Join Acheron, Hap, Alhara, Riley, Darius, and the entire Circus of Wayward Wonders as they save the Starstone Isles from the dreaded extinction curse. Listen now to 3-Ring Adventure at rollforcombat.com. Hi everybody, Dave from How It's Played here with a brief review of Pathfinder 2nd Edition's latest hardback release, The Lost Omens Mwangi Expanse Campaign Setting Guide. This review is a companion to my previously released preview of this book, and this video will focus on my thoughts and my opinions about it, while the previous video provides an overview of the book's contents. So if you would like more general information about the kind of material that is found within this book, then I encourage you to go check out that video too. A link to the preview video is included in this video's description. Okay, to get this review started, let's not bury the lead here and get right to the biggest surprise about this book. It's huge. 314 pages cover to cover. For comparison, the largest previous Lost Omens book was the Ancestry Guide at only 146 pages, so this book is more than twice the size of any previous Lost Omens book. And for what it's worth, the Mwangi Expanse Campaign Guide is also bigger than the Game Mastery Guide and has about 40 more pages than the Advanced Player's Guide, despite being offered for the same price of $49.99 US. To really put things into perspective, the Lost Omens World Guide that covers the entire continent of Avestan and the northern third of Garund is only 138 pages. This book, which only explores one section of that region, is more than double the size of that. In fact, it's 176 pages longer than the book that covers the entire primary game world. So this is a surprisingly large book, and if you're the type of person who uses cost per page as a benchmark for value, then you'll likely be very pleased. But size isn't everything, and 300 plus pages of content isn't worth much if it isn't good content. So let's talk about what you get for your $50 or your $35 if you prefer the PDF version. As mentioned in my preview video for this book, the Mwangi Expanse Campaign Guide is absolutely full of valuable information about the history and the people who live in this region. The beginning of the book takes extra links to provide guidance on how to be a newcomer to this land, with the expectation that a lot of characters who participate in adventures within the Expanse likely hail from the more traditionally Western European influenced nations of Avestan. This portion is insightful and focuses not just on how their presence will affect the Expanse, or whether or not their arrival will be welcomed, but also explores how they as characters will be impacted by their time spent in the Expanse. The section on the people of the Expanse provided insight into the different ethnicities present and provides a great amount of detail about the cultures and beliefs of not just the humans present, but the elves, dwarves, halflings, and orcs as well. But the highlight for many players here will be the 6 new ancestries. The Anandi, who are adventurous spiders who can shape change into human form, Konrasus, which are orbs of cosmic intelligence that create their own exoskeleton bodies out of wood, Gnolls, 8-eyed Golomas, frog-like Gripples, and the quilled Shisks. Each of these are fully fleshed out and provide all of the detail you would expect, including 4 or 5 heritages and the usual array of ancestry feats. Of the new options, the one I feel most drawn to are the completely alien Konrasu, but I've also taken a shining to the Anandi. I fully expect my Leshy players to start gravitating towards this new ancestry based on this one picture alone. The section on geography provides several diverse locations for you to set your adventure in, but it was the detailed write-up of specific locations and nations that I found the most valuable. My favorite of which is Vidrian, a newly formed and independent nation after nearly 500 years of colonial rule. The last section of the book provides stats for several new monsters and adversaries for players, but it is worth mentioning that some of these may feel a little too familiar as versions of them were already made available in previously released adventures, such as the Anadi, Boloko, and Charuka can all be found in a certain already published adventure path. Overall, I think this book provides a lot of the setting information that you will need to place your adventures within the Expanse. In the pros column, this book is huge. It has way more content than I expected. It has 6 new ancestries, only 2 of which feel like familiar territory, those being gnolls and grippleys. This book really goes beyond the bare minimum when it comes to setting detail, with a focus on the cultures of the different people inhabiting the Expanse and providing a diverse array of locations as well. And if it wasn't apparent enough already, the art in this book is absolutely gorgeous. This is, without a question, at least in my mind, the most beautiful Pathfinder 2nd edition book so far. But no book is perfect, so let's talk about the cons. For me, the biggest drawback of this book was its lack of crunch. Yes, there are 6 new ancestries and a handful of new monsters, but that's pretty much it as far as stats and mechanics go. I expected and would have greatly preferred if Paizo had approached this book in the same way that they did the Lost Omens World Guide and mixed in some crunch with all of the fluff. For example, this book provides 12-page long sections that explore different parts of the world. In these write-ups, it provides descriptions of life in the city, its people, significant organizations, and so on, but all of it is descriptive text. None of it is mechanical. You won't find anything from this chapter on anyone's character sheet. Whereas in the Lost Omens World Guide that also presented 12-page long write-ups of significant locations, it always provided some mechanical and gameplay-centric information along with all of that narrative description. Each of the 12-page long sections in the World Guide ended with a page of new backgrounds and a page providing a new character archetype that was associated with the location that was discussed in that chapter. Nothing like that is present in the Mwangi Expanse Guide. There are no new backgrounds, no new archetypes, no new spells or rituals. There are 3 new feats that are provided outside of the ancestry feats, and there are a couple of new items, but not nearly as much as I would hope to find in a book of this size. I would have greatly preferred that each chapter be 2 pages shorter and give me some of those backgrounds and spells and archetypes and other player options as well. I would recommend the Mwangi Expanse Guide to any GM looking for inspiration or to gain an understanding of the history, conflicts, and culture of the people who live within the Expanse. And I would recommend this book to anyone, even those who are not interested in playing Pathfinder, who would like to see what a high fantasy setting can look like outside of the usual settings that are heavily influenced by Western European history and cultures. I would not recommend this book to anyone who is looking for more player options. Outside of the new ancestries, there's not a lot of crunch to be found here. No new archetypes, background spells, or the like. This is a setting book and not a player's companion. So there are my thoughts on the new Lost Omens Mwangi Expanse book. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or if there's anything else you'd like to know about this book before making a purchasing decision for yourself. Before we close, I'd like to take a moment to thank all of my patrons. These videos would not be possible without their continued generosity and support. Members of the How It's Played Patreon community receive special benefits like exclusive content and getting to vote on the topics I cover. If you would like to support this channel and help it grow, the easiest way to do that is by subscribing and clicking the bell icon so you get notified when new videos release. And I can always be reached through Twitter and Facebook too. Thanks for watching, take care, and happy gaming!